Mom said, "You're not welcome this Easter," so I responded, "Don't expect my $9,800. "You're not welcome this Easter," my mom murmured. "Alright," I replied, canceling the electricity, water, and internet at their house right then and there. "But don't count on my $9,800 anymore." The first thing my mom said when she opened the door wasn't a greeting, not even a forced smile. No warmth, no "Happy Easter, sweetheart." Just three cold, clipped words that knocked the breath right out of me. I stood frozen on the porch, holding a bottle of wine in one hand and a basket of homemade chocolate eggs in the other. I had even worn that light blue shirt she used to say made my eyes stand out, the one she used to compliment with pride. But now, she wouldn't even look at me. "What?" I blinked at her. "You're joking, right?" Before I continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and comment, you will help me a lot, well. She glanced over her shoulder before stepping outside, pulling the door almost completely shut behind her. Just a tiny crack left open, like she was afraid to let me in. Like I was some kind of threat. "It's better if you don't come in today," she whispered. The air around me turned ice cold. "I drove 3 hours to be here," I said, trying to make sense of it. "I know," she murmured, her voice barely above a hush. "But things are tense." Then she said it. "The real reason. And Emily said she wouldn't come if you were here." Of course. Emily. I should have known. It was always her. From inside, I heard laughter, the soft clinking of wine glasses. Then someone, probably Uncle Mark, chuckled and toasted, "Cheers to real family being together." And then, clear as day, I heard her. Emily's voice, sickly sweet. "Honestly, this year feels so peaceful. No negativity, no drama." I wanted to scream. But I didn't. Instead, I smiled, calm, steady. The kind of smile that says, "You have no idea what's coming." "You know what?" I said, pulling out my phone. "Fine. Enjoy your peaceful Easter. But don't expect my $9,800 anymore." My mom's expression shifted in an instant. She blinked, her face twisting in confusion. "What money?" she asked slowly. I met her eyes, unflinching. "The electricity. The water. The internet. Every single bill I've been paying for this house," I said, my voice measured. "The ones you told me you needed help with, just until Dad got back on his feet. Well, guess what? They're all in my name. And I just shut them off." Her mouth fell open, then snapped shut. Her face went pale. You didn't tell me." Her voice cracked. "You never told me." I tilted my phone toward her. "See this app?" I tapped the screen with my thumb. And inside the house, darkness. From behind the door, Emily's voice shot through the air. "The Wi-Fi just cut off." "What the hell?" Mom lunged for my phone, but I stepped back. "Happy Easter," I said, turning on my heel and heading for my car. No one stopped me. No one apologized. As I slid behind the wheel, I saw Emily storm into the doorway behind my mom, her face red, her phone clutched high like some kind of battle flag. "Are you insane?" "We were about to have lunch," she screeched. I rolled down the window, calm as ever. "Call your real family," I called back. "Maybe they'll cover the bills next month." Then, without another word, I drove away. No guilt. No second thoughts. That was the moment I stopped being their personal utility company. The moment I became the ghost they could no longer exploit. For years, I convinced myself I was helping, that I was the responsible one. That family meant sacrifice. I told myself a lot of things. Like the time my dad called me right in the middle of a meeting. "Power's getting shut off," he said bluntly. I'd sighed, stepping out into the hallway, lowering my voice. "Again?" "Just for a couple of days," he said smoothly. "If you can cover it, I'll send it back by Friday." He never did. He never even tried. And, like always, I paid. My family had a long-standing tradition of taking without asking. And me? I had a long-standing habit of letting them. When Dad lost his job 3 years ago, I stepped up and started covering the utility bills. When Mom wanted a dental procedure, not a necessary one, just something to boost her confidence, I paid for it. When Emily couldn't afford to renew her car lease, I not only co-signed for a new one but also covered the first 6 months of payments. At first, it felt good. I liked being the reliable one, the one who had it all together. But little by little, that gratitude shifted into expectation. Then entitlement. Then obligation. "You're so lucky you don't have kids," Emily would say at dinner, swirling her wine glass. "All your money is just yours. That must be nice." "You mean the money I've been using to cover your bills?" I shot back once. She scoffed. "Oh, please. Don't act like it's charity. You love feeling superior." "She didn't mean it like that," Mom chimed in, ever the peacekeeper. But Emily smirked. "No, I meant exactly that. You think we should bow down just because you pay a couple of bills?" "A couple of bills?" I almost laughed at the absurdity. Water? $83 a month. Electricity? $210. Internet? $89. Streaming services, mobile plans, random Amazon orders, it never ended. I had stopped counting a long time ago. But last month, I finally checked my bank app and saw the damage. $9,800. That's how much I had given them in the last year alone. And yet, in their eyes, I was still the bitter, selfish brother who never smiled in family photos. The worst part? I wasn't even shocked anymore. A few weeks ago, I overheard something I was never supposed to hear. I had dropped by the house unannounced to leave some groceries. As I stepped onto the porch, I heard laughter drifting from the kitchen. "He's so uptight," Emily snickered. "You'd think paying a few bills made him king of the world." "He's probably just lonely," Dad added. "Works too much. All that money and no one to spend it on." "At least he's good for something," Emily said, giggling. "I'd cry if I had to pay my own internet." Laughter erupted. I stood there, grocery bags digging into my hands, my stomach twisting. No one knew I was outside. No one saw me. I turned around and left without a word. That night, I quietly canceled the autopay on their Netflix and Disney+. The next day, Emily texted, "Did the Wi-Fi glitch, or did you forget to pay again?" I left her on read. But the real breaking point came 2 months ago. I had logged into my bank account to transfer some money when I noticed a string of unfamiliar Apple Pay charges. A brand new MacBook. A luxury wellness retreat. High-end subscriptions. Designer clothes. All billed to the emergency credit card I had once given Mom, just in case. I called her immediately. "Did you buy a MacBook?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "Oh, that was for Emily," she said, like it was nothing. She needed one for work. "And the retreat?" Mom sighed. She was going through a rough patch. Crying every night. Honestly, it was heartbreaking. "With my money?" My voice was sharp now. There was a long pause before she finally spoke again. "Sweetie, you make more than all of us combined," she said softly. "It's not like you can't afford it." I hung up. For days, I wrestled with whether I should confront them, whether I should demand they pay me back. But then I remembered something Emily had said at Thanksgiving. "We all play our roles," she had laughed. "Mine is being fabulous. Yours is paying for the turkey." Everyone laughed. I forced a smile and swallowed my pride. But now, I couldn't even look at a turkey without wanting to scream. Easter was supposed to be the one day of the year when we all pretended to care about each other. I bought gifts for the kids, took time off work, even made reservations for Sunday brunch. And then, a week before Easter, my mom sent me a text. "Hey, sweetie, could you make sure the utility payments are squared away before the weekend? Emily's hosting an egg hunt at the house." I didn't reply. But I paid. $385 to keep them comfortable. $0 in gratitude. And then Easter arrived. I showed up at their doorstep, holding a bottle of wine in one hand and a basket of chocolates in the other. And they slammed the door in my face. "You're not welcome this Easter," Mom said, her voice low but firm. Behind her, Emily made sure I could hear every word. "Honestly, it just feels better without all the moodiness," she called from inside. "Let's keep it light this year." They wanted light. I gave them darkness. No electricity. No water. No internet. I sat in my car, watching as their perfect little Easter dimmed before my eyes. The porch light flickered and died. The sprinklers stopped mid-cycle, leaving trails of water drying on the grass. 5 minutes later, Emily stormed out of the house, her phone clutched in her hand like a weapon. "What did you do?" she shrieked, waving it in the air like I had just committed some unforgivable crime. I rolled down my window, meeting her fury with a calm, almost bored expression. "Enjoy Easter," I said. "Just the way you wanted, without me." And then I drove away. For the first time in my life, I truly understood something. Sometimes, the only way to heal is to cut the cord. I hadn't even made it halfway home before my phone started blowing up. First Mom. Then Dad. Then Emily, again and again. The vibrations were so relentless my phone nearly slid off the passenger seat. I ignored them all. Until one message from Dad popped up that made me laugh out loud. "You're being dramatic. Come back and fix this." Fix this? Did he mean their water? Their internet? Their illusion of a functional family? No, thanks. 2 hours later, they showed up at my apartment. I heard the knock, but I didn't move. Let them stew. Let them sit in their discomfort for once. Then the shouting started. "You're really going to ignore your own mother on Easter? Open this door right now, or we're calling the police." Emily shrieked. "This is abuse." I sighed, got up, and pulled the door open just as Emily raised her fist to pound on it again. She stumbled forward, nearly falling inside. "Get in," I said flatly. "But if anyone raises their voice, I'll call the cops myself." They stormed in like a hurricane, Mom crying, Dad pacing, Emily still yelling. "You think this is funny?" she snapped. "We had guests over, children. Do you know how humiliating it was trying to explain to a 5-year-old why the toilet wouldn't flush?" I leaned back against my couch, stretching out my legs. "Yeah," I said. "You tell them that their aunt and uncle expect me to cover everything." Silence. Mom gasped. Emily's eyes went wide. Dad's fists clenched. "How dare you speak to your family like that?" Mom snapped, her voice shaking. I tilted my head. "Family?" I repeated. "You mean the same family who told me not to come because I ruined the vibe? The same ones who laugh behind my back about how useful I am? The same ones who treat my money like an unlimited faucet?" Dad stepped forward, his jaw tight. "You're overreacting." "No," I said. "I'm done reacting. I'm acting." Finally. Emily folded her arms across her chest, her expression dripping with disdain. "You think this makes you powerful? Shutting off the utilities just to make a point?" I met her stare without flinching. "No," I said simply. "This makes me free." She let out a short, bitter laugh. "You're being ridiculous. Honestly, you've always had this martyr complex. You just want applause for paying some bills." I exhaled sharply, shaking my head. "You mean the $9,800 I spent last year?" I said, my voice suddenly razor-sharp. "The money that paid for your heating, your Zoom therapy, your new iPhone, and your fake Paris business trip, which, by the way, was actually a spa retreat in Palm Springs." Her face drained of color. "You went through my stuff," she hissed. "You used my credit card for the plane ticket," I shot back. "I get the statements, genius." Dad immediately tried to change the subject, raising his hands in a placating gesture. "Okay, look," he said, his tone forced into something resembling calm. "We've clearly made some mistakes." "Some." I repeated, my voice flat. I looked at my father, the man who had once told me, to my face, that I had no place at the table. That Emily deserved my help more because she had a future. "You looked me in the eye and said that," I continued. "And now you're surprised that I finally believe you?" Dad swallowed hard. His voice dropped to a murmur. "You were angry." "No," I corrected. "You were honest. For once." Mom reached for my arm, her touch hesitant. "Sweetheart, please. We're family. Can't we just reset? Undo what you did?" I pulled back. My voice was cold. "No. Because this isn't just about Easter. You didn't shut me out today. You shut me out years ago. You've been fine taking what you needed. But the second I say no. I exhaled sharply. I'm the villain. Emily had gone eerily still, her face shifting from flushed fury to something quieter, something dangerous. Her voice was low, seething. You'll regret this. I met her gaze without blinking. You think cutting us off will make you feel better, she hissed. You'll be alone. I let out a short laugh. Good, I said. Alone is better than being bled dry by people who smile when I walk in and spit on my name when I leave. Silence. Heavy. Crackling. I stood up, letting the weight of my words settle. Then, in a voice so calm it almost felt detached, I laid down the terms. Here's what's going to happen, I said. You'll find another way to pay the utilities. You'll transfer the car lease off my name within 30 days. You'll stop using my Netflix, my Spotify, my Amazon Prime. And if you don't, I'll lock it all down. Permanently. Dad scoffed, shaking his head. You wouldn't. I met his stare. Try me. Then I turned to Mom. And if you ever try to guilt-trip me again with the whole, but we're family act, just remember, sons deserve love. Not invoices. Mom's eyes welled up, but she said nothing. Just looked down. Emily stormed out, slamming the door so hard that a picture frame on my wall tilted sideways. And I didn't care. I didn't chase after her. Didn't explain. Didn't fix anything. For the first time in my life, I didn't try to make it better. I closed the door. Locked it. And exhaled. The war was over. And I had finally won. What happened next was almost eerie. No calls. No texts. No sudden knocks at my door. It was like they had collectively decided I no longer existed. And you know what? It felt amazing. For the first time in years, I woke up without that dull pressure in my chest, the one that whispered, "What will they need from you today?" No more scanning my bank account to make sure I could cover their latest emergency. No more fake family group chats where they sent memes to each other and left my messages unread. No more guilt-drenched holidays where I bought gifts for everyone and got socks in return. I was free. And the quiet? The quiet was beautiful. I started sleeping better. Eating better. Living better. I bought a cheap second-hand guitar and started learning chords. Reconnected with college friends I hadn't seen in years. Signed up for a photography class, something I'd always wanted to do but never had the time, energy, or space to exist for myself. For once, every cent I earned went toward me. My rent. My groceries. My future. At first, it felt selfish. Then it felt fair. Then it felt right. A week later, Emily posted a long-winded Instagram story rant, classic black background, white text. Some people will leave you when you need them most. But God sees everything, and karma is real. I didn't reply. But I did screenshot it. For the laughs. A few days after that, Dad called. I stared at the screen, watching it ring 5 times before it went to voicemail. Hey, your mom's upset. Emily's talking about selling her car. I don't know why you're doing this, but it's gone too far. We're family. Call us. I didn't call. Instead, I emailed Emily the car lease transfer forms. Subject line, "You're welcome." Then came the real surprise. Jessica, my cousin's wife, reached out. Out of nowhere. She had been at Easter that day, standing quietly in the background as Emily cursed my name and Mom clutched her pearls like I had committed murder. And now, she wanted to talk. She messaged me late one night. I know this might be weird, but I just wanted to say thank you. I've never seen anyone in this family stand up for themselves like that. Honestly, it made me realize a lot about how they treat people. You didn't deserve that. I hope you're doing okay. I stared at the message for a long time. Someone saw it. Someone finally saw me. I took a breath and wrote back. I'm better than okay. For the first time in a long time. But, of course, peace never lasts forever in my family. 2 weeks later, I came home to find a letter taped to my apartment door. No return address, but I didn't need one. The handwriting alone told me everything. Mom. Inside was a carefully written note, every word deliberate, designed to sting in that quiet, parental disappointment way. The first line, "We raised you better than this." The last, "You'll always be our son. Even if you've forgotten what that means." I folded the letter in half, tossed it in the trash, and went out for tacos. Because here's the thing. They'll never understand. I didn't forget what family means. They never knew. They thought love was control. That money equaled obedience. That silence meant agreement. That sacrificing yourself was proof of loyalty. But me? I finally knew better. Now, I walk into my own apartment, and it's quiet, not because I'm unwanted, but because I want the silence. I light a candle. Put on some music. Sit by the window and just breathe. No one's waiting for me to fail. No one's asking for a wire transfer. And for once, I don't feel like a backup plan in someone else's life. I feel like the main character in mine. You know what's wild? The world didn't end the day I told my family I was done. The sky didn't crack open. No thunder. No lightning bolt of regret. Just silence. And freedom. And for someone like me, someone who spent his entire damn life playing the role of the good son, silence was everything. It wasn't empty. It was peaceful. It wasn't lonely. It was quiet. The kind of quiet that makes space for your own voice to come back. Because for years, I couldn't even hear mine anymore. I'd wake up and immediately start calculating who I needed to save that day. Mom needed $300 for an unexpected gas bill. Emily's bank account got frozen, and she had to go to that concert. Dad's credit card payment was late, and if I didn't cover it, his score would take a hit. Every time I said yes, I shrank a little. They didn't ask. They expected. They didn't thank. They joked. They didn't see me. They used me. And I let them. Because I thought that was what love was supposed to feel like, suffocating. I thought being needed was the same as being wanted. But it's not. Being used is not the same thing as being loved. It took one slammed door and a disconnected power line to finally understand that. After Easter, the messages stopped. No more threats. No more pleas. No more guilt bombs wrapped up with bows. It was like I had died, and they were too polite to say it. But that ghost phase? It gave me the clearest view of my own life I've ever had. I started asking myself questions no one had ever let me ask before. What do I want? Who am I outside of them? What happens if I stop being their lifeline? And you know what I found? Breath. Space. Joy. I learned how to cook for myself. Real meals. Not just cereal and shame. I joined a local music jam on Saturdays. And for the first time in my life, I felt whole. I started writing, short stories, poetry. Hell, even this. Turns out, there was a whole person buried under the guilt. Then, one evening, weeks after the fallout, I ran into someone at a bookstore. Hannah. We'd known each other in college. She looked different now, lighter, happier. We grabbed coffee, started talking, and somewhere between reminiscing and catching up, she asked, "Are you still close with your family?" I hesitated, then said it. For the first time, without flinching. No. I cut them off. She blinked, then smiled. Good. I laughed, caught off guard. Most people just look at me like I confessed to murder. She shrugged. Most people don't know what it's like to be the family doormat. We talked for hours. About boundaries. About healing. About finally choosing yourself without apologizing for it. That night, walking home, I realized something. I wasn't broken anymore. I was rebuilding, from the ground up, without them. And that was okay. Weeks turned into months. And I started noticing the little things, the ones that meant everything. I no longer jumped when my phone rang. I no longer stared at my bank account, bracing for impact. I no longer checked Emily's social media, waiting for the next passive-aggressive jab. And one day, I caught myself laughing. Actually laughing, at some dumb meme a friend sent me. And it hit me like a wave. Holy shit. I'm happy. Not because something extraordinary had happened. But because nothing was draining me anymore. Because for the first time in forever, I wasn't someone else's crutch. I was just me. Alive. Awake. Untangled. Then, the final twist. A voicemail from Mom. Her voice, soft, shaky. Almost fragile. Hi, sweetheart. I hope you're okay. Emily's been going through a hard time. The house feels different without you. I know you're angry. I know we messed up. But you're still our son. We love you. I miss you. I listened to the message twice. And for the first time, I didn't cry. I didn't feel pulled back in. I didn't feel guilt. I didn't feel rage. I just felt done. And that feeling? It wasn't cold. It was warm. Warm, like standing in the sun after years in the shade. So here's what I know now. Saying no doesn't make you cruel. Setting boundaries doesn't make you heartless. And walking away from toxic people, even if they're blood, isn't betrayal. It's survival. And yeah, maybe my name is now a curse at their dinner table. Maybe they'll twist the story, paint me as the villain, the ungrateful, the cold-hearted. Let them. They're not in my life anymore. And my life is finally mine. So if you're reading this, and you're tired. Tired of being the one who always gives. Always forgives. Always sacrifices, while they laugh behind your back. Let me be your proof. You're allowed to stop. You're allowed to walk away. You're allowed to choose you. And if they ever tell you you're not welcome, you say, good. I didn't come here to be welcome. I came to stop bleeding. Then you stand tall, walk out that door. And never look back. Because peace isn't a place they give you. It's the place you reclaim. When you finally say, enough.